Hi guys, it's Teresa. Welcome back to my channel. It is already June, as we all know, so that means it is time to do the Mid-Year Book Freakout Tag that basically marks the first half of the year. It's just talking about some of the highlights from that first half, and it's one of my favorite videos to do every year because I love watching them and I love doing them because I get to talk about a lot of standouts and kind of sum up my reading so far in the first 6 months, or at least 5.5 sort of. But I really enjoy this tag and I hope you guys do too. So yeah, so far I have read 44 books in 2019, which is not that great considering my Goodreads goal is 120. So I'm I don't even know, 6 books behind or something, but it's okay. I'm not stressing out about it because I'm reading a lot of good books right now and I'm reading kind of longer books. So it's only natural that those will take a minute, but I'm quite happy with my reading overall. And I read some very good books so far this year, so that's all very exciting. So before we get into this video, please don't forget to like if you're enjoying my content and subscribe to my channel. I upload 3 times a week and you don't want to miss that. But now let's jump right into the questions. So predictably, the tag already starts with the most difficult question, which is what is the best book you've read so far this year? And I just find it's difficult to answer no matter when you ask me this, but particularly this year because I've read some new favorites, I've read some 5-star books, and it's very difficult to rank them in any sort of way. So I'm just gonna go with my most recent favorite book basically because that's just the easiest, and that would be Uprooted by Naomi Novik. I just read this in May and I absolutely adored it. Go watch my May wrap up because I talk a lot about it there. I just love it. It's a perfect fairy tale, literally. It's absolutely phenomenal and I adored everything about it and I already cannot wait for my reread of this. The next question is what is the best sequel you've read so far this year? And that would be Dark Triumph by Robin Lefevers. This is the second book in the His Fair Assassin trilogy, and I basically had forgotten all about the series until I randomly picked up the first one again on a whim in April, I believe, and I reread the first one, really enjoyed it, and then finally dived into the second one, and this was just a gem of a book, honestly. It is absolutely perfect. It's so well written. The character is so engaging and has so much depth and nuance, and it's so fascinating to read about her. Basically, this is a fantasy series that is set in a real world inspired 1480s France, at that time independent duchy called Brittany, and there's a lot of historical accuracy in these books, which is really cool, and it basically is just about assassin nuns that have to serve their duchess basically in doing a lot of assassinating and it's just really cool all around. But particularly this book, it was for me the perfect sequel, the perfect second book that is the antithesis to all these suffering of second book syndrome series, because it's just better than the first one straight up. And I think that's really what a sequel should do, step it up a notch. And this definitely did that. So if you have not yet checked out the series, highly recommend it. Highly recommend, especially the second one, because this is just amazing. Question number 3 is what is a new release that you haven't read yet but want to? And that is definitely Holy Sister by Mark Lawrence. Funnily enough, another series about assassin nuns. This book is actually on my what month are we? June TBR. It was already on my May TBR as well, but I didn't get to it. And so I'm hoping to do it this month. I still have to read the second one as well, so we shall see if it actually happens. But I really want to get to this, really want to finish the series because I really enjoyed the first one when I read it, I think last year or 2 years ago. What is your most anticipated release for the second half of 2019? I'm gonna go with Dark Dawn by J. Christoph, which is also about assassin nuns. I keep talking about assassin nuns in these videos. I don't know what is up. It always comes back to that. I'm sorry if you're sick and tired of hearing about it. That's the third book in the, what's it called? Is it called the Nevernight series? I don't actually know what the name of the trilogy is, but it's the third one. It's coming out, I think, in September, and I do own Dark Dawn, no, not Dark Dawn, that's the third one. God's Grave, the second one, but I have not yet read it. I wanna wait until Dark Dawn comes out, and then I'm gonna like marathon the whole trilogy, like reread Nevernight and then read the sequels. Very excited to get to that. Yay! Let me know if you want to see it as a vlog. What was your biggest disappointment so far in 2019? Well, if you've been watching my videos recently, you will know, but it definitely was Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. It's the second and final book in the Strange the Dreamer duology. And go watch that video. I talk about it in depth there, but it was a pretty weak sequel. It like didn't have a point, didn't really have much plot, and it really just felt like it was written by a completely different author. Conversely, what was your biggest surprise? And for this, I had to pick Entwined by Heather Dixon. This is a book that I had owned for like years at this point. I picked it up on a whim, no apparent reason, from like book outlet that one time I ordered there. And I put it off and put it off and put it off because I thought it was just gonna be another weird YA book that I wasn't gonna enjoy. But I put it on my project TBR for this year and finally read it. And honestly, I gave it 5 stars. I loved this one so much. I read it within like 12 hours, couldn't put it down, didn't want to stop. It was amazing. It's a fairy tale retelling of the 12 dancing princesses, and it's just so beautiful and whimsical and magical, and the family dynamic is amazing. And I just love everything about this book, and I highly recommend checking it out if it's not on your radar, which I assume it's not because it's pretty obscure, I think, but definitely one of the biggest surprises ever. Who is your favorite new author? I'm gonna go with Naomi Novik. I've only read one book by her this year, but it was my first one, and I really enjoyed her writing style. I really enjoyed her storytelling style, and I immediately bought and put on my June TBR Spinning Silver, which is another fairy tale retelling. It's a retelling, I think, of like Rumpelstiltskin. So I'm really excited to get into that, and I can't wait to do that. I hope she writes more books like this. I know she has another series that is kind of like steampunk or something, or like World War II with dragons. Not really my thing, but I really want to read more of her fairy tales because I think she's a phenomenal writer, and especially that genre, like she can do it really well. So can't wait to see what else she comes out with. Your newest fictional crush? I'm gonna go with the dragon from Uprooted. I know I literally just did the TMI book tag where I answered a very similar question. Who else? I don't know. I was trying to think of somebody from the Live Ship Traders, like Ship of Magic book, but I genuinely don't like any of them, really. The characters are all unlikable in a good way, but I don't have anybody except Brashen. Brashen is cute, but he's a little weird. Who is your newest favorite character? Oh, a difficult question. Can I say, while I don't really like him, maybe Kenneth from Ship of Magic? Like he's a really weird personality. Like it's very jaded and cynical and like self-serving, but to the outside he like has the ability to, he kind of seems like a psychopath, like almost like he can make people love him and like make it seem like he's doing things for them when it's really just self-serving. I don't know. There's a certain element of intrigue to him, and I want to know his backstory. He seems like a very hurt person as well, and like all this like shittiness that he does is like a veneer, not a veneer, but like a defense mechanism, which doesn't make it okay, but that's just the vibe I'm getting from him, and I so hope that my theory is correct. I don't know why, but like I like speculating and like making theories. A book that made you cry. Ooh, what was a more recent book that made me cry? I can't remember. I'm gonna have to check my Goodreads, like my read books. Oh, Lincoln in the Bardo by George Saunders definitely made me cry, especially the ending. Holy shit. I've done a whole video recently on books that made me cry, so go watch that if you want to know more. I think I mentioned Lincoln in the Bardo there as well. It's definitely a very tear-inducing book. Your favorite book to movie adaptation? I didn't watch any this year. I barely watch any. I never have an answer for this question. But Let's say I want to see Crazy Rich Asians. Your favorite review you've written this year? I haven't. Oh, Lady Midnight. Not written, but video review. I really enjoyed that because I took my time. Like, I wrote notes. Reading Lady Midnight took forever because I wrote so many notes and like made so many notes and put like post-its and all this stuff. And then I had to like actually write the review in a sense, like put all my notes in order. And yeah, I like these kinds of like in-depth, detailed, time and energy intensive reviews because they also turn out better, obviously, because I have like a coherent structure kind of like, and I know what I'm gonna say and my thoughts are better connected and all that stuff. So I really like that, and I think it's a good review. So if you haven't seen it yet, I mean, it's a negative review, but it's a good review, I think. So go watch it. Second to last, the most beautiful book you bought so far this year. So this is also my like default answer, which I also showed in the TMI tag. It's the A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemra. Because of the spine, I show this all the time, but I really like it. I have yet to read it, but I like the cover. I think it's very beautiful. Oh, I realized I forgot a question. 11, a book that made you happy, and that was Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. I just think this is very funny and lighthearted and cool and like, I don't know, it's just very entertaining. I think I gave this like 4 stars. It's a really good book. So definitely recommend checking it out if you want something that's just like fun. And now the actual final question, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? So I don't really have like a yearly TBR except like my project TBR. So from that list, I think I've read 6 books already, which is pretty cool. Like I'm doing pretty well. So all the other books from that list that I haven't read yet, I still have to read. And I also really want to read these 2 books. The first is Seirei no Moribito by what's the Uehashi or Uebashi? I'm not sure. I can't 100% remember how to read that. But this is a fantasy book from Japan, obviously, and I've put it off because it's going to be a lot of work to read this because I want to do it properly and like understand everything and like learn the new words and all that stuff. So there's going to be a little project that I'm going to undertake in the summer, but I really want to read this. It was a present from a friend who really loves this whole series, and these books are also just absolutely stunning, and I want to read the whole series and like collect them in this hardcover edition as well because they're so beautiful. So yeah, hopefully I enjoy this, but I'm definitely going to read this year. And then finally, also want to finish the Life Ship Traders trilogy by Robin Hobb. This is the second book called The Mad Ship, and then the third one is called Ship of Destiny, yeah, not Ship of Magic. This one is slightly longer than book 1, and I don't know how long the third one is, so this is probably also something that's just gonna happen in the summer at some point, but I really like the first one so far. I'm like almost finished. I need like 200 more pages, so yeah, it's a very good series. I enjoy it, and I hope to finish it as well. And that is it for the Mid-Year Book Freakout Tag for 2019. Now we all have to wait a whole other year for the next one, which is kind of sad because I just love doing these. I don't know why. It's just so fun to talk about all the different books that you've read. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. Click the bell icon so you always know when a new video goes live. And I hope to see you very soon with another video. Oh, and before you go, leave in the comments what was your favorite book that you've read so far in 2019. That would be awesome to know so I can add it to my TBR as well. Have a lovely week. Bye!